If you live with diabetes, pretty much any type of diabetes, you've probably been told that there are certain foods that you cannot eat or that you should limit. And if some of that advice you've been given sounded rather funky, your intuition is probably right, because it does seem like everyone has an opinion on what we can and cannot eat when we live with diabetes. So how do you sort through this maze of often contradicting mismatch of information? Well, you talk to an expert. And it shouldn't just be someone who's an expert in which kind of foods work for them and their diabetes. It should be someone who has a registered dietitian education, preferably combined with a certified diabetes educator degree. And that's exactly who I have enlisted for this video. So before your next grocery run, remember to check out these foods that a registered dietitian would never touch. Take it away, Ben.
Thank you, Christelle, for the awesome introduction. And if you don't know me, my name is Ben Zeal. I'm a registered dietitian, certified diabetes educator, strength coach, and I've lived with type 1 diabetes myself for over 20 years. And every day, my team of dietitians and I work with people just like you to help you achieve amazing blood sugars while eating foods that you love and becoming the strongest version of yourself. I'm all about eating amazing food with great blood sugars as much of the time as possible. But there are some foods that I, as a type 1 diabetic myself, registered dietitian and diabetes educator, would not touch with a 10-foot pole because they have zero utility to improve health, my energy level, or really my life in any capacity. So without further ado, let's get at it. Number one, let's get controversial right out of the gate. Cinnamon. I love me some cinnamon. My favorite gum flavor is cinnamon. I love putting cinnamon on pancakes. I love putting cinnamon in certain desserts. But cinnamon on its own is not going to do anything to benefit your blood sugar. Use it as something for taste. Use it as something for flavor. Don't use it with the expectation that it's going to do this magical thing and your blood sugars are going to get so much better. While there are a few people with type 2 diabetes who may take a cinnamon supplement and may notice marginal benefits, it's not going to be this wonderful thing that just makes your diabetes poof and just disappear. Number two, popcorners. These are super popular. They give them away on some flights as the in-flight snack because they're perceived as healthy. But quite honestly, that could not be any further from the truth. They're basically a well-marketed blood sugar bomb. And you might be thinking, how? Why? Look at the nutritional information. There's barely any protein. There's not much fat. It is just straight carbs that are high glycemic, so your blood sugar is going to rise quickly, and there's no fiber. You're basically just eating straight carbs. It contributes nothing of benefit to your life, and quite honestly, because they're marketed as a better alternative to chips, you might as well just eat the chips. At least chips have some micronutrients. These things are completely devoid of any utility from a nutritional standpoint. 0 out of 10 recommend. I'm all 10. Number three, white rice. Now, before you come at me, if you love sushi or you love white rice, this is from strictly a nutrient perspective. There is nothing useful about white rice that you can't already get from brown rice. White rice is one of the fastest things that will spike your blood sugar. If you've ever had more than one piece of sushi, you can probably relate to this. Second, there's barely any protein, there's no fat, and it is, again, zero fiber, no utility, very little micronutrients to contribute. It's basically just a vehicle to raise your blood sugar and taste good. And don't get me wrong, you can absolutely do great things with white rice when it comes to creating certain foods. But just choose brown rice. Choose an alternative that at least has some fiber and at least has something useful for your body and isn't just gonna send your blood sugar from 100 to 250 before you can blink your eye and say sushi roll. Number four, sugar soda, full sugar soda. I'm talking regular, hey, I just got a Dr. Pepper, not diet, and I'm not a huge proponent of that either, but just plain old sugar soda. Again, look at the ingredient list. You are looking at water and sugar, and then some carbonation to make it bubbly. So basically you're getting bubbly sugar water. And let's also factor in that a lot of cans are well over 40 grams of carbs. That is straight sugar. If you have a low blood sugar, by all means have at it. Great option. But just having it alongside of your lunch or your dinner, or you're just relaxing on a hot summer day, there's a lot better options you could choose that will have a lot less impact on blood sugar and be a lot more beneficial to your long-term health and your short-term health. Number 5, rice cakes. This one's very similar to white rice. Look at the ingredients in a rice cake and tell me what is useful about them when it comes to your blood sugars or when it comes to anything health related. They are a faster glycemic carb. Your blood sugar will go up quickly. Barely any protein, barely any fat. They are basically a vehicle to shoot your blood sugar up. There's a ton better snacks that you could consider. Next up, we've got low-fat peanut butter. And hopefully you're not still stuck in the low-fat craze that took place about 20 years ago. But think about low-fat peanut butter and what it has involved to make it lower fat. You're getting just a few grams less of fat per serving. Maybe 4, 5, or 6 grams of fat less. Which means to make up for it from a taste perspective, something else has to be added. Whenever it's lower fat or reduced sugar, something else has to be done in compensation. And in the case of low-fat peanut butter, you're getting added sugar. You're getting fillers. You're getting other things to keep the texture as similar as possible and the taste still magnificent while reducing the fat. So basically you're just swapping out a semi-decent fat source for fillers and sugar and Lord knows what else. Just eat the regular peanut butter. And please, if you choose peanut butter, try to choose one that doesn't have the second ingredient be molasses, because that doesn't really help anything from a blood sugar perspective either. And then it might as well just be candy. Now we've got the instant noodles. If you're a college kid, I apologize in advance because that's where it's famously known, where the college kids love the instant ramen. But look at the nutrition information on one of these bad boys. You are loaded in sodium. You are loaded in carbs that are high glycemic, that are going to spike your blood sugar. You've also got minimal protein and a decent amount of fat. At this point, just get a donut and shove a bunch of salt on top of it and eat that instead. At least it'll taste good. It's got a much higher likelihood of actually filling you up as well than a cup of instant noodles that is probably tasting very subpar and tastes like eating a block of salt. Do not recommend. Now we've got ourselves hot dogs. America's favorite ballpark food is one of America's worst dietary options. And again, look at the nutrition information. Sure, carbs are non-existent. They're basically just fat. There's such a little amount of protein in a traditional hot dog that there's no utility in eating it. There's none. It doesn't do anything for you. It is processed to the nth degree. It's loaded in sodium. You've got a ton of fat that is from some questionable sources, and the protein amount is minuscule. So there's no nutritional value whatsoever from a micronutrient or macronutrient standpoint. There's a lot better options. And if you're going to do hot dog, at least do your best to get all beef, and sometimes they have the 98% fat-free ones, or turkey hot dogs, that at least have a decent amount of protein and the fat is very much so reduced, so there is at least a little bit of nutritional utility. In the same vein of hot dogs, we've got bologna. Beyond not having any idea where it came from, the more important aspect here is loaded in salt, loaded in fat, not enough protein to justify it. The processing and what they use for preservatives are a little bit scary. And then just consider the fact that it doesn't even taste that good relative to other options that exist. And maybe that's just my own opinion. But there's so many other things that you could throw onto a sandwich than bologna. And last but not least, we've got fruit-based yogurt. I'm referring to the kid type yogurt that's fruit flavored, or the yogurts you get at the grocery store that are loaded in sugar. They're 25 grams of carbs, 4 grams of protein, and maybe 2 grams of fat. At that point, go drive yourself the tropical smoothie and go get an entire smoothie, because you're going to get the same macronutrient profile, a ton of carbs, a ton of added sugar, and 0 protein pretty much. It's just going to be a blood sugar bomb when you could just walk 3 steps down the aisle, choose a Greek yogurt that probably has no fat, that probably has at least 12 to 15 grams of protein, and likely has a reduced amount of added sugar relative to the fruit-based yogurt that I'm referring to here. So I know I was a little bit harsh with some of the responses to these foods, and these are things that I do my best to avoid as a person living with diabetes and as a dietitian and a diabetes educator. And a lot of the people that come through our practice do the same thing. But what I also want to mention is these are not things that are forbidden. No food within the diabetes realm is 100% forbidden. But what I will say is being smart is what's much more important here. So periodically, every now and then, sure, have a hot dog at a baseball game. Hey, if you want to go ahead and have some rice cakes, by all means, go for it. You want to have a sushi roll, go for it. But the majority of the time, there are better things that you can substitute for these options that will be more blood sugar friendly, more friendly for your short-term health, as well as actually give you the nutrition and the nutrients that your body is asking for and needs to be able to function at its best possible ability. So I hope you found that helpful. Definitely let me know what questions you've got. Drop them down below. Happy to answer whatever I can. And with that, if you are looking for more support on the nutrition side of things, you're living with diabetes, your blood sugars are bouncing, you're not sure what to do to get them reined in, so you've got amazing control, but still get to eat amazing food, that is something my team and I help people with every single day. So shoot me a message. Let me know how we can best support you. And with that, I'll catch you soon.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. So what do you think, guys? Did you learn something new? Is there anything that you'll be scratching from your grocery list? I must admit, I didn't realize that brown rice has such a nutritional leg up from white rice. But now I know. If you want to get in contact with Ben, I have left a link to his website and his social media down in the video description. If you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That is that little bell. That way you'll be informed whenever I post new content. Also, if you like this video, please give it a like and leave us a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.